What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn had this to say about an hour ago. He says that Deontay Wilder would break promise to fans and accept the WBC franchise belt if it allows him to duck Dillian Whyte or Anthony Joshua once again. He goes on and he says that Hearn says you can't take anything Wilder says seriously. Okay. Of course, we know that Wilder came out and said that he would turn down that offer if that offer was presented to him. Okay. And Eddie Hearn, he said, first of all, he says one face, one name, one champion. And then we chase the undisputed fight for over a year. And he don't want to know. Joshua loses and it's one face, one name, and one champion all over again. Okay. Now he says he'll turn down the franchise belt. If he gets the opportunity to duck Dillian Whyte or Anthony Joshua or anybody by being elevated to franchise champion, he would do it in a heartbeat. Don't take what Deontay Wilder says too seriously. That is the words from Eddie Hearn. Now, this is interesting to hear Eddie say this now. And of course, everyone gave props that really wasn't a Deontay Wilder fan on multiple channels. And shouts out to Bruce Vane, because Bruce Vane really brought this to the forefront. Okay. And then I'm going to, counterpunch along with that because, first of all, like Bruce Vane pointed out, it wasn't offered to him. Like a lot of people, that said it in the comments, it was not offered to him yet, And one thing is apparent, I give credit when credit's due. Since he turned it down, I'm like, cool, because I'm against the WBC. I'm all for the boycotting of the WBC. Cool, right? But if someone that is a WBC champion comes out and says, hey, if that was offered to me, I wouldn't take it. Here's the thing. It wasn't offered to you. And what's the easy thing? That's just like a chick that's a hot chick at school or whatever. And it's easy for you to say, man, she came to me, I wouldn't even want to mess with her. Or vice versa, right? I wouldn't even mess with her if she came to me, But it's easy for you to say that because that hasn't been presented to you. That's not an option for you. You're just saying what you're not going to do, but that what you're not going to do isn't even an option. Okay? And I like how Bruce Vane broke that down. If they had to elevate him to franchise champion, by default, they would have to make someone the WBC regular champion, just like they did with Haney and Jermall Charlo. Okay, so that's what would have to happen. And I don't think the WBC, honestly, I don't think they really wanted to go that route. But again, it wasn't offered to him. Now, as in terms of what Eddie's saying, to counterpunch what Eddie's saying, there is some truth. He's scarlet hot. But guess what? What Eddie doesn't realize is that he didn't need to be franchise champion to duck Anthony Joshua or Dillian Whyte. So it really, Deontay Wilder doesn't need to be a franchise champion to duck anyone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's easy for him. It's easier for him to say, I don't want the franchise champion because damn, they treat you like a fucking franchise champion. Think about it. This guy, they had him fighting Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury told him to go fuck themselves. He joined ESPN after they made Fury. Hey, you gotta fight, says the WBC. You have to fight the rematch with Wilder. No, I don't. You know what I mean? And after he told them where they can go, they still went right after that and said, hey, now you are the guy that you take Dillian Whyte's position after they'd already signed it. Tyson Fury don't give a damn because he was going to fight him anyway. Okay? And Canelo Alvarez did the same shit. So the WBC, first of all, They show they don't have a backbone. They let Deontay Wilder do whatever he wanted to do. They protected him from certain fights. That, you know, that Dillian Whyte shit was absolute. We know that something was up with that, with the UCAD and all that bullshit. Look, they were looking for a reason to stop him from coming right at Deontay Wilder, because that's what Dillian Whyte wanted. That was his objective, and that's what he was set out to do. Okay, in the WBC, the organization, fuck the franchise belt, the organization itself stopped that from happening some type of way, used any reason. And the reason was, oh, it's an adverse finding in a fucking drug test that we don't even regulate. You know, instead of them minding their own business, well, he passed our test, that's good enough for us. They didn't do that. They seen some other source. Oh, he did what? Oh, we can't have him on our ranking. Let's temporarily suspend him. And they did that. That's exactly what they did. And that's all they did. Right? So with Eddie saying, hey, yeah, he would take it in a heartbeat. No, he doesn't have to take it. That's what Eddie don't realize. He does not have to take a franchise champion belt if the WBC does what he already wants them to do. They're already protecting Deontay Wilder because they have vested interest in Deontay Wilder. And it starts from high up all the way down to Deontay. Okay, it goes from Al Heyman to all these other, with Al Heyman and Steven Espinosa, and all these guys are close knit. Okay, and then they don't need a short leash on Deontay Wilder to make him franchise anything, because for one, he hasn't even proved that he can sell like those guys. Really, I don't know what the hell Loma was doing. Maybe Loma actually did ask for it. You know what I'm saying? But Canelo Alvarez, yeah, he had the numbers. He made the numbers. I just dropped a video about that, right? About Canelo's new and improved numbers, but he's still a franchise champion. So what are they going to do about that? So no, I mean, those two guys, Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua, are the two guys that Deontay Wilder ducked. Period. Okay? Period. He ducked those guys, and he did not need a franchise position to do it. So that's where Eddie is flawed, because Eddie needs to realize, yeah, he'll take a franchise. No, he won't take a franchise anything because he doesn't have to. Plain and simple. Deontay Wilder does whatever he wants to do according to the WBC. He's had that belt for the longest. He's like that old faithful mule, okay? When it comes to the WBC, when it comes to a lot of stuff on that side of the street. You know, obviously they shit all over Dillian Whyte because he's more like Bernard Hopkins. He's like that fight the power, fight the resistance. You know what I'm saying? And he says a lot of things towards the WBC. And I think that hurt him instead of helped him. Okay? Now with Joshua, they can't... Look, dealing with a fighter that was a unified champion, they know that if he has the rest of those belts, he has other obligations. They don't want to deal with a guy that's already a champion because that's too much for him. That guy has 3 other belts. I'm sorry, 4, but 3 other major belts. So I don't think it's in their best interest to really want a Joshua Deontay Wilder fight, because if Joshua beats Wilder, what the fuck do they have left? They don't have anything left. You see what I'm saying? They do not have a pony in the show. So it's better for Deontay Wilder to have him fighting the guys that he was fighting, and them getting their standard sanctioning fees, right, for those fights, versus for them risking it all fighting somebody that's already a champion. That makes no sense. So the WBC, what they did, they were like, look, we're going to protect our fighter. We know he's our guy, you know, and as long as his promoter or his advisor or whatever, his manager, as long as they put him in with competition that's winnable, we're going to back Deontay Wilder. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. Now, with Eddie Hearn, they tried to make that fight for a year. And really, honestly, for 6 months, they were really in the dark, because for a very long time, Shelly Finkel did not even respond to Eddie Hearn. Okay, so really from about maybe July to August to September to October, maybe to like November. When November came around, right, that's when Shelly Finkel and Eddie Hearn started communicating again, and they just really couldn't get on the same page because they honestly didn't like each other. So it was like a lost in translation type of communication attempt with those two guys. But for the rest of the year, when Deontay Wilder, after the draw, he was still focused on Fury. Maybe he just felt bad about getting a draw against Fury because he's supposed to knock Fury out, and that didn't happen. You know, but he avoided the elephant in the room, which was the rest of the belts. So I can understand why Eddie Hearn feels the way he feels. You know, because they've been getting dicked around, fucked around. They tried to go, you know, around the post and, you know, and other avenues. They even brought John Skipper in. That fight ain't gonna happen. It ain't, and it surely is not gonna happen like it's supposed to be. Okay. I understand the $40 million with Pacquiao and Mayweather, because Mayweather offered him $40 million, and that was supposed to be, oh God, man, he should have took the money. This isn't that. Okay. The only way that happens if Deontay Wilder doesn't lose, Anthony Joshua gets those belts back, and then Anthony Joshua continues knocking people out. You know, but who's to know what's going to happen in the sport of boxing, especially with heavyweight boxing? But it's a sure bet that $100 million will never be on the table again. So that shit really leaves, that rejection of that leaves a bad taste in people's mouth, including Eddie Hearn. So I can understand him thinking that, but I don't think that's the case. I do think, like I said, guys, Deontay Wilder, if he does break the promise, he has to be accountable for doing that. He would make him look like the biggest piece of shit in boxing if he says, no, I'm not going to do it, then turn around and then accepts it. You know, that would be some shit. You know what I mean? But again, why would you need to be franchise champion when you're already doing what you want to do? That's my counterpunch on that, guys. You guys tell me what you think about Eddie Hearn's statements. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.